Hey guys, welcome to this vocabulary video about family. Family is a really important topic in IELTS, especially in IELTS speaking. Almost inevitably in the speaking test, you're going to be talking about your family at some point. So it's very important to have a good range of advanced vocabulary to grab the examiner's attention. So we'll have a look at some key words and phrases you can use when you're talking about family. Beginning with the adjectives maternal and paternal. Now, these are adjectives that relate to parents. Maternal refers to mother, and paternal refers to father. So, for example, her maternal instincts kicked in as she protected her child from harm. You very often hear that phrase, paternal instincts and maternal instincts, so the instincts of a parent to protect their child. The sort of equivalent to that for children is filial. So you go maternal, paternal, for the mother and father, and filial refers to the child. So it's to do with the child's relationship with their parents. So, for example, I could say his filial respect was evident in the way he cared for his aging parents. In-laws are the family of your spouse, the family of your husband or wife. So, for example, your wife's mother is your mother-in-law, or your husband's father is your father-in-law. The brother or sister of your husband or wife is your brother-in-law and sister-in-law. So any member of your husband or wife's family is your something-in-law. And collectively, we can call these your in-laws. So I could say, spending holidays with my in-laws is always a joyous occasion. Kinship refers to the feeling of family. Kin is an old English word for family. We talk about kinship. It means relationship or bonds or connections that feel like family. So maybe they are, maybe they're not literally family, but they feel like family. So I could say, for example, the strong sense of kinship in the small village made everyone feel like a family. So relationship similar to a family relationship. Sibling rivalry. Okay, so first we need to know what sibling is. The sibling is a collective term we can use for brother or sister. So your sibling is your brother or your sister. Rivalry, maybe you know already, is a competition. So sibling rivalry is competition between siblings. And it could be to see who gets the best grades at school, or who does the best in a sport, or who gets, the most attention from the parents. Sibling rivalry is very common. So I could say sibling rivalry is a common phase, but it often leads to stronger bonds later in life. Hereditary describes the traits, the characteristics, or the likes and dislikes. Also physical appearance, physical characteristics. This kind of passed from one generation to the next. So it could be like in terms of abilities or interests, such as in the example. The family discovered the musical talent was hereditary when the youngest member showed an innate ability to play instruments. But also things, physical features like eye color, hair color, height, these things are often hereditary, passed from one generation to the next, biologically, genetically. The generation gap refers to the differences in the opinions, the attitudes and behaviors between older and younger members, well, actually, not just family, but society in general. If you think about your age, and then you think about your parents, and then you think about your grandparents, often you will see things in a different way, different priorities, maybe different ideas of right and wrong, different ideas about what's important in the world, etc. This is the generation gap. We could say there's a big generation gap between those who grew up with the internet and those who didn't. Upbringing is a noun. It refers to the way that a child is raised, kind of the culture, the customs, and the values that are given to the child by the people who look after them. So, for example, I could say we had a very conservative upbringing, meaning that we were given, that we adopted conservative ideas and values, as an example. The nuclear family refers to a family unit of two generations. So the parents and the children, or the child. In Western society, people tend to live in nuclear families. That's kind of the default family unit. Obviously, there are exceptions. It's not always the case, but usually it's two generations in a household. And we describe that as a nuclear family. On the other hand, the extended family is everyone else. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc. These are your extended family. So I could say I live with my parents, but I have a lot of extended family in the same neighborhood. Moving on to some idiomatic expressions now. So we have blood is thicker than water, which means that family relationships are stronger and more important than other relationships. So even if you have a very close friend, for example, and you don't really like the people in your family, in the end, you will support and take the side of the people in your family in any dispute, just because of the family. So we say blood is thicker than water. Another idiom, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, means that a child is very similar in a particular way to one or both of the parents. So in terms of characteristics, traits, behaviors, physical appearance as well. So I could say Sarah's passion for art is evident. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as her mother is a renowned painter. So her mother loved painting, and Sarah really likes art. So kind of inherited this characteristic. And the black sheep of the family is the family member who's considered different from the rest somehow. Usually has a negative connotation. The origin is that, well, the majority of sheep are white, and that means that people could take the wool and they could make that wool any color. However, black wool, you can't do anything with. So the black sheep were of less value. So it has this negative connotation traditionally. So for example, your Uncle Mike is the black sheep of the family due to his fight with my grandparents. These days doesn't have to be so negative. So for example, let's say I come from a family of doctors and I decided to be the lawyer. We could still use that phrase, the black sheep of the family. So remember, if you want to hit me up for help, advice, guidance, tuition, and IELTS preparation, there's the email address, or you can get in touch with me in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Family is a big topic. I might come back to it and make a second video about it as well. Take care.